Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today and participating in the conversations. I am excited to kick off our next discussion with Carissa Stanton, who is known as Brocc Your Body to her more than 600,000 Instagram followers. She is also the author of the New York Times best-selling book, and I need to show my copy. Seriously, so good. It is so good. And it is also just a beautiful cookbook. Carissa, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
We are excited as well. One of the things I wanted to start off talking about today is the theme of balance, right? I love how in your cookbook, across all your platforms, you talk about finding this balanced outlook on nutrition and wellness. And candidly, this is something I struggle with. I think many others will relate to this as well. I personally love cooking. I love a good meal. But I also know that with busy schedules, it can be challenging to find this balance and really prioritize healthy eating. I wanted to ask your advice. What are some quick and nutritious meal ideas or prep tips that you would recommend for others who might empathize with me in this outlook?
Yes. So I actually got my start. I was working a 9-to-5 job and I started my blog on the side. So my recipes just started as being like really quick and easy because I do love cooking, but I'm honestly like a little bit lazy. Like I never do more than like 30, 40 minutes max when I'm cooking dinner. So I really got my start, making really simple, easy, delicious recipes. There's so many. That's like really my bread and butter. So most of my recipes cater towards somebody exactly like you who's busy all day and you finish work and you're not gonna go to the grocery store and whip out a bunch of ingredients and spend a bunch of time making dinner. Maybe some people are like that and that's amazing, props. But yeah, that's not really my cup of tea. But in the book, there's a whole dinner in 30 chapter, which I find myself cooking out of so much. It's just a bunch of really simple dinner recipes that you can make in under 30 minutes. So those are great. The spicy beef rice bowls in that chapter would be great for like 15, 20 minutes. I use a bunch of pantry staples. You can whip it up with like pretty much anything you have on hand. So that's a really good one.
That's amazing. I'll have to prioritize that one. I've made it through a couple of recipes, but not that one quite yet. So I will. And as you talk about the pantry stocking, you have a section in your cookbook that I absolutely love. And there's the grocery run section and then the kitchen essentials section. And it makes sure that people like myself have the right ingredients on hand and the tools needed to be able to whip together those quick meals.
Yes.
I know that this level of preparedness for me has really helped relieve some of the stress of cooking or baking, especially during the weeknights after that 9-to-5, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about that theme of relieving that stress, relieving that sense of intimidation that can sometimes come with entering into the kitchen. And how do we build confidence in that process?
That's such a good question because I feel so confident in the kitchen because I've been doing it for so many years. But a lot of people come to me and they'll be like, I'm just starting out. I have no idea what I'm doing. And a piece of advice that I like to give is don't be afraid to take shortcuts. I love using a rotisserie chicken in my meals. Like if you want to use that, throw it in soups or with bowls. You don't really need to make everything from scratch. You can use, sauces from the store and whip something together like that. And also know that you're going to mess up. I have been working on a recipe all week and I keep messing it up. I cannot get it right. So I think that it's totally normal. You don't need to be hard on yourself if you do make something and it doesn't turn out. I feel like that happens to literally everybody. And then just, finding a couple recipes that you love and making them every week. Like, I make, this turkey skillets in the book. I make that probably at least once a week and I just keep coming back to it. You don't need to like branch out and make all these crazy meals. And it's nice to just get really familiar with one recipe. And then you'll start to feel more comfortable, maybe branching out or maybe adding your own spin on that particular recipe and making it your own. That's like the fun part of cooking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one more thing too that I find that a lot of people don't do is I make sure you're tasting everything as you go. A lot of people I notice like don't taste the food until they serve it. And for me, I'm like constantly trying things and tasting things, adding more salt, adding more pepper, adding more of a certain spice that I like. So don't be afraid to, try it and adjust it to, your preferences.
I love that. My kids are my taste testers as well. And so we've implemented some of those strategies. I've inherently needed to accept that I'm going to mess some things up, especially as I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old helping me with all of the measuring and the assistance. I know you have nieces and nephews as well. So you probably experience the same when cooking with little kids.
For sure.
But I also find that not only is it important to taste test, but when you have others like kids taste testing and participating along the way, they're more inclined to eat the food once it's complete, which is great.
For sure. I've noticed that with my nieces. Like sometimes I'll make something and they like won't even eat it. But when they're helping, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm like, it's because you made it, but great.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to ask you a really difficult question next. And it's, if you had to pick your favorite recipe from your book, which one would it be and why? Can you do that? Can you pick a favorite?
I can. I love, it's in the dinner in 30 section, and it's called the date night chicken and creamy mushroom sauce. It's so delicious. It's a 1 skillet, 30-minute meal, and I just absolutely love it. I call it date night chicken because my fiance and I, if we're debating on going out to dinner or staying in, this is the recipe that will get us to stay in because it's like better than anything that you could eat at a restaurant. I love it. The spicy beef rice bowls are also amazing. I know you asked for one. I'm going to give you like two. The spicy beef rice bowls are amazing for busy weeknights, for meal prepping. Again, 15 minutes. Once you have all the ingredients like the soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, sriracha, once you have that, you'll be able to just whip it up. All you have to do is buy like a bag of ground beef and you're good to go. So that is a go-to in our house. And then there's also a really delicious Texas sheet cake in the dessert section. It's just like a really delicious, decadent chocolate cake. And I feel like it just really speaks to the balance in the book. There's some recipes in there that are really healthy. They're going to fuel you. They're going to make you feel amazing. And then we also have just like a beautiful, decadent chocolate cake because that is like what feeds the soul and everyone needs that. So that's really kind of the balance of the book comes in. So I really love that recipe and it's definitely a staple in our house.
Yes. Food certainly brings me joy, especially when we're talking about something like a chocolate cake or a really nice hearty meal and a date night in. That's wonderful. And we have others who are tuning in and agreeing and who are saying, I needed this. Cooking at home supports financial wellness and physical wellness. Great point, Morgan. It's definitely full circle there. What about for those who are working to really prioritize their health and well-being while also excelling in their careers? We talked a little bit about the struggle of working the 9 to 5 and then coming home and really wanting to show up in the kitchen or in your home or for yourself in the best way that you can, and how to juggle all of that.
I think that obviously as women, we put so much pressure on ourselves. It's like we go to work from 9 to 5 and then we come home and we have to make this beautiful meal that tastes amazing, but it's also really healthy because, we need to be eating all of these certain types of foods and not eating this certain type of food. So I think just like letting go of everything that like you think you need to be doing. You don't need to be eating something that is like purely clean and super healthy for you or whatever. Again, it's all about balance. It's all about making something that you can fit into your schedule that tastes really good. You're not going to be stressed out in the kitchen. I always say if you're eating like grilled chicken and broccoli for dinner and you think that that's healthy, but you're sad while you're eating it, that is not a healthy meal at all. So I would say just like, kind of just like letting that pressure go and making something that is quick and easy and satisfying that you're going to feel really good about eating.
Yes. And enjoying it too, right?
Enjoying it. That's so, so important, especially nowadays and as women, when we have so much pressure and so much going on in our daily lives, if we're not enjoying the food that we eat, like that is just so, so insanely important.
Yeah, I know so many working professionals who are probably like me and opening up DoorDash or throwing in a frozen pizza, or anybody else stand at the kitchen counter while eating your dinner quickly in between the different seasons and chapters of the evening, right? And
Sure.
so we can slow down, prioritize those moments, find that balance, right? Maybe it becomes
Yes.
something that we can all enjoy a little bit more, especially after the end of a long work day.
Yes, absolutely.
I have loved our conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to find out more about you and your work, as well as resources for continuing to maintain that balance. Where should we send them? What links can we drop in the chat for everybody tuning in?
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Brocc Your Body. I have a website, broccyourbody.com. Tons of recipes on there. I'm always posting all of my creations. And then again, my cookbook, Seriously So Good, which just came out last month, is a great resource. You can buy it on Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, and there's tons of amazing recipes in there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carissa. I see the links are being added to the chat. So please, we encourage everybody to go give those a follow. Everybody pick up your copy of Seriously So Good. We highly, highly recommend. Carissa, thank you so much for being here today, for giving back to our community. It's been a wonderful discussion. Next up, we have a session that's centered around elevating our well-being. So we're really rolling with this thematic topic. We're eager to keep the conversation going. We'll take a very quick break. So go stretch your legs, refresh your cup of coffee or your beverage of choice, and we'll be back on the main stage in just a few moments. Thank you again, Carissa.
Thank you so much. Bye.